Welcome teams, mentors, and students to This Is How We Robot. I'm Coach John Burdett, and in this episode, we're going to walk you through what to expect at your first FRC event. If you are a second or third year team, you know what to expect, but maybe you're looking to learn how our team organizes our parents, students, and mentors to have an enjoyable, inspirational weekend of fun. Before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss another episode, and then leave a comment below with your team name and number so we know who is tuning in. Know that we're speaking from the experience of a team in the Michigan districts. So your team may be in a place competing in a regional event, or perhaps your district is outlined a little differently, but nevertheless, this walkthrough should align very well with your events. So let's talk about getting ready for your first event, because this is how we robot. Let's start off with our plans before we even get to the event. You should have students, mentors, and parents on your team. So let's start with the fundamentally important ones. The parents. They keep your kids fed. We work with a main parent contact who organizes the food. The first night of the event is attended by a skeleton crew of students. Only the drive team and pit crew attend, as there are no official matches until at least the second day. For us, food during this time is usually a quick pickup from fast food or pizza found at a nearby establishment, as we only have about 5 or 6 students to feed. Parents should plan out food for lunches and dinners of the events. For regionals, this means a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. For districts, usually this is a Friday, Saturday, or some districts run Saturday and Sunday, like for example, Indiana does that. But our lunches often consist of cold cut sandwiches or pizza. Everyone can contribute, perhaps even drinks, instead of solely one set of parents providing for all. Parents can even get cute and decorate lunch tables, which may be set aside for the team. At some events, a lunch or meal option is made available by the event host. Parents may wish to opt for this, and if parent resources are limited, then we recommend absolutely taking advantage of this. The last thing I want at a competition is a set of hangry team members, which takes away from the overall experience. Then I have to scramble and find a food option that takes away time where I could be helping the students learn and grow as future engineers, instead of thinking about what restaurant has what available at the last possible minute. With some of the event happening during the week, you may find that getting mentors to attend the event being a challenge, as they would have to get off work to do so. So please be sure to speak with all mentors well ahead of the event to see what their plans are. Often our mentors will help lead one of the subsystems of the robot, and thereby need to make sure that the student leader understands all of their responsibilities before the event starts. As a coach or a student leader, you do not want to end up trying to learn and fix a robot in the pits when you are not familiar with why that part failed. Finally, let's go over how we organize our students. This is referenced later in the scouting video, but let's work a little more in depth. The chart shown here on the screen was adapted from the Great Michigan Team 2337, the Engine Nerds out of Grand Blanc. They're our friends, we love them. We found before this chart that our students were struggling to evenly divide up the scouting roles and experienced frustrations with students taking long bathroom or stretch breaks during the events. So with this chart, we're able to organize not only the specific roles of the students, which includes scouting, but also their given or planned break times in which students are welcome to step out to the bathroom or just explore the event. Along the top, we list out the match numbers instead of the times. We do this for a couple of reasons. First, some matches take longer than others as the field breaks down or robot communication issues. So we do not want a student leaving mid-match just because it's 2 p.m. and that's when their shift ends. And second, then students will monitor match numbers and thereby be more engaged with the event instead of waiting for a timer to go off on their cell phone. If you haven't already done so, be sure to organize your drive team and pit crew. Our drive team video will be coming out next as these are released, but we highly recommend sticking to a specific set of 3 or 4 students who will operate the robot in every match. More on that in the drive team video. The pit crew for us is usually 2 of our best mechanics. We can rotate in 1 or 2 students throughout the event, but these remain steady. A pit crew needs to be always ready to fix a completely broken robot following a match. During a regional event, teams may have as little as 45 minutes between matches, and for a district event, it may be as little as 15 minutes. At the very least, the pit crew needs to be ready with a freshly charged battery in between each match. If the pit crew is on point, then the drive team can focus on strategy for the next match, and the pit crew focuses on the robot. If your team has enough students to allow it, we highly recommend keeping the drive team separate from the pit crew, as then the drivers will use the robot during the match at full capacity with no worries about having to fix it later. Now let's look at the logistical layout of the event. Inspection night, which is the first night, often coincides with practice matches. Be sure to have all of your consent and release forms signed along with a full roster printout when you check in. Note that in all competition and pit spaces, all participants must be wearing proper safety gear. This includes closed-toed shoes and safety glasses. Following check-in, be sure to get your pit set up. You will likely be provided an 8-foot by 8-foot space, but it can go larger, along with a 6-foot long table and one power outlet. You need to be sure to bring at least an extension cord to help get power to your pit. Get the attention of a robot inspector as soon as you and your team are ready for a full inspection. The checklist is released by FIRST before the end of the build season, so if you're watching this in February of a build season, odds are good that the inspection checklist is available now through FIRST, and we highly recommend performing an inspection at your home site to make corrections before you arrive at the event. The biggest issues from being an inspector myself are number one, saggy bumpers not in the bumper zone or rigid when connected to the frame. Two, being outside of the starting configuration. And three, having all software up to date on the PDP, RoboRio, VRM, PCM, radio, and driver station. Once the robot passes inspection, then the team's cleared to compete in official matches. Robots should, but do not have to, pass inspection prior to playing in practice matches. We highly recommend participating in as many practice matches as possible so the drive team gets used to the feel of the arena as well as the norms of taking robots on and off the field. The next day begins the qualification rounds. And for regionals, this is typically 10 guaranteed matches, and with districts in Michigan, this is typically 12. During these matches, your team will be paired up at random with 2 other teams to compete against an opposing alliance of 3 teams. Watch the scouting video for our approach on establishing a strategy prior to matches, but here let's talk about our best practices in approaching another team. The basic idea is simple. Be honest and come with a plan. Before a match, we have our drive team meet up with the other 2 drive teams to go over a plan. In general, this is to sketch out autonomous positioning, the first 20 seconds after teleop so we don't get in each other's way, and the final positions for endgame, and finally our general roles. Qualification rounds are first and foremost to be fought and won by an alliance, but even in a losing match, we believe it is very important to showcase reliability and any special skills your robot possesses. So when discussing roles, be sure to speak up about the strengths and the limitations of your robot. In some instances, you may be asked to play defense. If this is not something your drivers feel confident they can do without penalties, then fight for another role. Defensive robots are great, but if you're going to rack up penalties during the match, then that will reflect negatively in the eyes of the scouters. More on that in the scouting video. We always approach match play with an open mind, but ready with a game plan. Shown here on the screen is a sample floor plan used to sketch up strategy for a match. Just like in basketball, we are able to use X's and O's to plan out autonomous and teleop. If we have any specific intelligence about the opposing alliance, we are sure to include that here. This would include specific pinch points or known habits of opposing alliance robots during the match. We plan to stick to our role, but always communicate. If the robot loses communications during a match, be sure to inform teammates immediately so they can make adjustments. One key aspect to being a good alliance partner during qualifications of the playoffs is clear and honest communications. Following a match, win or lose, be sure to thank the alliance partners for their efforts and wish them well. We always want to practice good, gracious professionalism in FIRST, and this is a great opportunity to do so. If there were major communication issues, we may note that to our lead scouter. Should we end up in a picking position or an alliance captain role, we may choose to steer away from those teams, as good communication and chemistry is often as important as raw scoring power. After the end of all qualification rounds comes the playoffs. All throughout the qualification matches, your team and others were earning ranking points. Some games offer ranking points beyond simple win-loss opportunities, and therefore a team that goes 10-2 might be ranked below another team who only went 8-4. Now all teams at the event send one representative to the field for alliance selection. We will always send our student, regardless of rank, to the field with a pick list. This list often breaks down teams in order of our opinion for the best of a specific task. For example, in Steamworks in 2017, we had the best gear runners and then the best or most reliable climbers ranked. We also include the best defensive robots, in our opinion, should the others with more desirable skills already be taken. The top 8 team representatives now get to choose their partners for the playoffs. This is done in serpentine fashion, with the 8th spot getting their second choice first on the return. Should any of the alliance captains choose another, such as rank 1 choosing rank 2, then all the teams move up one slot. This means that the 9th ranked team takes over the 8th seeded alliance captain position. Once all 24 playoff teams are chosen, then, excluding the 3 top non-chosen teams as backups, those alliances are set to face off in the playoffs. The 1 seed faces off against the 8 seed to start, and the playoffs progress until a winning alliance is decided. These matches are best 2 of 3, which ends up making for some very exciting tie-breaking matches. Should you find yourself in the playoffs, awesome! Way to go! Be sure to ask your alliance captain right away precisely the role they want you to play. There is a reason your robot was chosen, and you will need to play that role you are asked to be successful in the playoffs. If your team does not find yourself in the playoffs, hey, then it's time to relax and enjoy some incredible robot action. At this point, you can celebrate with your team that you made it through the qualification rounds and the event as a whole. Be sure to watch all the playoff action to learn from the robots on the field, as well as enjoy the award ceremony at the end, as you just might win an award even if you're not in the playoffs. This next part is a quick note to our 2nd and 3rd year teams. Rookie teams are ineligible for the highest award in FIRST, the Chairman's Award. While there will be 3 teams on the winning alliance for the event, only 1 team will win the Chairman's Award. For regional events, winning the Chairman's Award is a guaranteed advancement to the championship event. For district teams, the Chairman's Award is an automatic advancement to the district championship event to compete against fellow Chairman Award winners. When you're competing for the Chairman's Award, be sure to work with your Chairman's Award presentation team prior to their interview time. Another future video will speak more to this award and our preparation for presenting. But for now, we want to be sure that you are aware that the judges for the event are always watching for teams in contention for the award. This means judges hanging out in the stands to observe team behaviors, scouring social media, and certainly coming to the team's pit often to verify information. This means the pit crew should also be well versed in the Chairman's Award presentation to be ready for questions should they come up as judges pop by. Our entire team is aware that they represent our program throughout the events, so even when they're in the bathroom, they're upholding our standards of personal conduct. Judges are looking for teams who are eligible or in the running for many awards to then decide that one team is deserving of the top award. This especially targets the safety award, so if a team is deemed to be unsafe in the pits, on the field, or otherwise, then those observations will reflect very poorly on a team going for the Chairman's Award. So if you are a 2nd or 3rd year team going for the top award, we wish you well and good luck. Wrapping up, events are a weekend's worth of positive, chaotic fun. The emotional roller coaster of competing in a FIRST event is second to none and captures the essence of any other sporting event to the fullest. We find the most success and enjoyment comes when every team member understands the expectations and responsibilities throughout the event. So we recommend organizing the students using a chart similar to the one presented here in the video. This allows students to know when they need to be in a specific role and when they can look forward to some well-deserved breaks. Always be sure to utilize the scouting information when strategizing, and remember gracious professionalism when talking between drive teams to be the best alliance you can be. If you find yourself in the playoffs, be sure to play your role and help the alliance perform at its best. Sometimes that role is taking the lead and being the big dog in the fight, while other times you need to let your partners take the lead and you go play some fun, clean defensive driving. As a coach, I find a good debriefing session with students, mentors, and parents can help make the next experience even greater. Be sure to thank everyone for their efforts as they were on the same emotional roller coaster and doing the very best to help the team. Once the debrief is over, we find that a decompression session over some tacos at a local Mexican restaurant works best. Lead coaches and mentors will be coming down off an intense whirlwind of exhaustion, no matter if they won the event or finished last. Successfully getting through any FRC event is worth a celebration. Congratulations. Now get ready for the next one. Thanks for watching and being with us here today. Remember to leave a comment below with your team name and number so we know what robots to cheer for this season. And as always, subscribe to this channel to keep finding out more on This Is How We Robot.